Well, people are complaining again. They're complaining about AKAI and what it doesn't have, and why they can't do this and why they can't do that. Again, complainers. It all started, well, not all started. People have been complaining forever. But I actually started posting about Pro Tools being the standard because people are complaining. And so now that the debate about Pro Tools has died down, now they're talking about how AKAI didn't do this and AKAI didn't do that, and this step is not in there, and that. Just use the MPC, man. Use the MPC and be happy that you even have an MPC. Because it could be a whole lot harder to make the music without it. You know, now if you want to say the MPC in itself is a standard, it is. It is. But there were people long before now who had to use the limitations that came with the MPC in order to make the music that they made. But yet and still, nowadays people just complain about what they don't have as opposed to using what they do have or working around what they're already working with. Matter of fact, stop complaining and get to the music. You never know what you'll come out with your limitations. Just stop talking about the limitations and just make the music. That's why you're doing it. I thought you were doing the music so that it would be a way of getting away for yourself, or a way of getting away for people to hear your music and really just think about something else and become creative just because you did something that was creative. But it's turned into all this complaining about, oh, I can't do this, and oh, it don't this, and it's not that, and this isn't there, and that's not there. Just do the music, man. Get there and just enjoy doing the music. You would think, you know, with all the Fruity Loops and all the Logic and all the Ableton and everything, you can figure out something else. Whatever AKAI's not doing, you can do it someplace else and then bring it back into the AKAI or the MPC, or you can figure out a way to bring it into Pro Tools, or bring whatever you're doing in Pro Tools into Ableton or into Fruity Loops, whatever you're using. People just complain about everything. And so while you're complaining, other people are actually overcoming the limitation. They're doing the music, or they're doing the production. You can do the same thing. You can do the same thing. Just stop complaining about everything. Nobody wants to hear about your complaints. Nobody cares. They don't. And so, yeah, the companies might listen to you a little bit, but for the most part, they're only going to go so far with your complaining. They're just going to ignore you anyway. They know what they have to do, and they know what they don't have to do. You know, there are a lot of other people who are a lot smarter than you, me, and everybody else, who come up with all kinds of ideas with the limitations, or other ideas or suggestions that the companies can actually make the change within their application. Oh man, it's just bad. It's just, listen, you don't have time to complain. You got to get that music done. On top of holding down the job, on top of holding down your family, on top of everything else. Stop complaining. Take the limitation and make something with it while everybody else is complaining. And then when those things actually happen, or those changes are actually made, they'll be complaining about something else. Oh, this isn't working now, and that's not working. Oh, I know you did this change for me, but I can't do this now. Man, does everything have to be perfect in order for you to do the music that you're thinking about, or that's in your heart, or that's really motivating you? Do you have to go through all of that? You don't. You don't have to complain, because nobody cares. I'm telling you. You're sitting there complaining about it, even though it might get clicks and all that kind of stuff. They still not paying you enough for the complaining. Do the music. And if you're going to be a content creator, just be a content creator, whatever. But all the complaining about everything, it shows youth. It really shows youth. Those of us who have learned how to work around all those limitations, we don't care about this, that, and the other. I could put it like this. I could still use the Pro Tools of 2001 and not complain. I could still do that because I would always do my pre-production on an MPC anyway. Do the pre-production, arrange the song, put the instruments in, and record them down to Pro Tools. Limitations don't mean anything to me. I'll find some other kind of way to use the limitation or to use or make the music another way. And a lot of times, even though you might have it in your head one way, you write it down, you get it down, and you record it down, you actually go back and change it. You go back and remix the song that you actually hadn't even released yet, or you hadn't even finished it, but you went back and changed the drums, or went back and changed a line, a chord, or a set of chords, or a chord progression, or something like that. The limitation is not going to get you. There were a lot of people, like I said before, who did a whole lot more with less. And it sounded just fine for what it was and what it is. I just, why are the musicians complaining? You don't use half the stuff in those apps. I'm sure they got, let's say they got 150 different whatevers, commands that you can use in those apps. I know you don't use all of them, but you're complaining about one thing that you see, or something that don't work. Stop the complaining, man. You don't have to. You're talented enough to get around the limitation. And if you're not, get around people who are. I mean, from the preacher side of it, God don't like it when people complain about everything. But when you start talking about people are providing a service, you complain about the price of the app. You complain about the subscription. You complain about paying every month. You complain about this. You complain about that. Now AKAI MPC is not doing this, or that doesn't work, and this doesn't work. Stop complaining and get back to work. Get back to work on the song. Listen, if you're working, you don't have time to be complaining. If you're working, you don't have time to complain. You don't. You're trying to get through the song. You're trying to create. You don't have time to complain. There's nothing to complain about now. There's nothing to complain about now. They complained about the band members wouldn't play the song, and this person's not good enough to play, and that person's not good enough to play. And then all of a sudden they got sequencers, and now they can hear what the gist of what the writer was talking about. The bass line goes here, the drums do this, the keyboard chords kind of do that. Okay, now that's all kind of take it in, and that's all play it. Okay, then it went from that to now we can record it ourselves. We don't have to wait to the rehearsal. We don't have to go to the studio to do stuff. We can actually record this ourselves. And so you go from one extreme to the next, and now we're complaining again. You don't have to complain. You're gifted. You're gifted. You don't have to complain. You can work around it. You can get your music done without that thing that you don't have. You can do that. God gave you enough talent to do that. You don't have to complain. It's a waste of time to complain about what you don't have. Sure, you would like to have it this way. Sure, you would like to have it that way. Is it easier? Yeah, it's easier. But don't complain, man. Those companies are going to do what they need to do to make the money so that you can have some of the stuff that you want. You're not going to have everything you want. It's like thinking you're going to get everything you want from this woman. You think you're going to get everything you want from that man. You're not going to get it from him. You don't get everything you want from God. You don't get everything you want from God. So what makes you think you're going to get everything you want from a music application? Makes no sense in the world. Stop complaining. You're smarter than that. You're more gifted than that. You don't have to complain. And if you ask God, he'll show you how to get around whatever it is that you're complaining about. Whatever the problem or whatever the limitation is, ask him. He'll show you. I remember when he showed me how to mix. I remember that. We went and did a mix. Got the project down. And on the way back home, it was just like I kept thinking about it. I said, man, that just don't sound right. It don't sound right. It don't sound right. I got home. I opened up my little Pro Tools Digi 001. God, show me how to do this. And sure enough, he did. Turn that knob, turn this knob. See, when you turn that, that's what makes that sound. See, when you overdrive that, that's what gives you that sound. And I'm making a mental note of all this stuff that he's giving me and telling me to do. Ask God to show you a way to get around all your limitations and stuff. You might mess around and come up with a way to fix what they don't know how to, or whatever they're complaining about. God will show you how to fix it and do it in your room. And you don't have to wait on somebody else to give it to you. He's giving it to you. Ask him. He'll show you. Don't sit there and wait for somebody to spoon feed you everything. They already gave you the daggone applications. Why are you complaining about something the app's not doing? It makes no sense in the world. It's like we're babies or something. Every time we don't get something in the MIDI, why? Every time we don't get something in the audio, why? Every time we don't get this one thing that we really would like to be in the one application that we love, and we don't have it, but we have it in another. Why? We just cry about everything. You don't have to cry about everything. Stop complaining. You don't have to do that. Makes us look like children. Stop complaining about anything. Just go get the work done. If you can get it done with the limitations, trust me, you're going to be able to fly past whatever limitation you're going to have if you stop complaining. Stop complaining. Figure out another way to do it. Sometimes we just don't want to buckle down and learn how to do what we need to learn how to do and what we have. We haven't buckled down to utilize what we have already. That's our problem. And we want everything to be easy. That's what we want. I saw a plug-in the other day. You put your vocal in and you want to sound like this rapper, or you want to sound like this vocalist. You put that little effect on there and it changes the whole thing. EQs it, put the delay and the reverb and everything on there and compresses it. Easy. But if you ask those people how to do that for real, they can't do it. You ask them, okay, how do you set up the bus for the reverb and the delay and the speed of the delay, and what's the repetition of the delay? The pre-delay on reverb, they wouldn't know how to do that. Okay, fine. You grab the little app and put that on there, and you got an instantaneous, perfect vocal for music that was done 10 years ago. Not creating something new. You're just regurgitating what people are doing right now. And people are playing the music right now. The music for the future is what you're supposed to be looking for. You're supposed to be writing music for the future, not for 2025. You're supposed to be writing music for 2028. Be ahead of the class. Be ahead of everybody else. Sound weird. They're not ready for it. So be it. But you're writing for the future. You're not writing for 2025. Yes, sometimes you'll go back to 1980s. Sometimes you go back to 90s, 2000s, 60s, whatever. But whatever you're writing, You're writing for the future listeners. And you can't write that song for the future if you're complaining. You just can't do it. You cannot write the songs for the future if you're still complaining about the sound for right now. You're not thinking about now. You're thinking about the future. And most of those people who got those hit songs, they didn't know they were hit songs. They came up and people liked it. They finished the song, people liked it. They released the song, people liked it. But you won't even release your song, you're just complaining. How many times can you change a song? Just complain, and never release the song. Nobody ever gets to enjoy what you did because you're spending all your time complaining about what AKAI, what MPC, what Ableton don't have, what Pro Tools don't have, what Luna don't have, what Fruity Loops don't have. They all have something. Okay, imagine this. Imagine if you could use all of the apps together and then record it in Pro Tools. Imagine that if you could use all the apps together. You can use Live, Ableton, you can use Luna, you can use Fruity Loops, you can use Logic, you can use Cubase, you can use everything for whatever it is that you like in there. And then even in Pro Tools, you can add that in. Just stop complaining, man. It don't make sense. It don't work. It's just a waste of time for you to sit there and complain. They're not listening to you. I don't care what they say. They're not listening to you. They're listening to their investors. They're listening to the money that they're not making or the money for the future that they're trying to make. How do you become the standard? You become stable. It's like a woman who's got a man who's unstable. She's always on the edge. She don't know what to do. A man who has a woman that's unstable, he's wondering where she's going, who's she talking to. Well, it's the same thing. These musicians and producers, they're like unstable. And so the companies that's making all these apps are going to listen to unstable people. They're going to go with those who are stable. They know that, yeah, Pro Tools don't have everything. Ableton don't have everything. Logic don't have everything. Fruity Loops don't have everything. None of them have everything. And you're going to sit there and complain instead of utilizing you're an unstable person, very unstable. And you could be stable if you just utilize what you have, as opposed to trying to tear down one company over another. You're trying to tear down Pro Tools because they don't have everything that Fruity Loops don't have, or Fruity Loops has. That Pro Tools don't have everything Fruity Loops has, or Pro Tools doesn't have what Live has, or some kind of way the MPC doesn't have what Machine has or Native Instruments has. Come on, man. Just utilize all of it. Utilize all of it. Pay for all of it. Pay for it and work it. Don't sit there trying to tear down a company. You should be glad they're even fooling around with you, allowing you to use their app. Because trust me, it costs them more than what you're paying. Just being ungrateful, it's not going to do it. Matter of fact, the more you complain, people can hear that in your music. They can hear the baby in your music, the wah in your music, the crying in your music. You can't satisfy yourself, let alone AKAI, they can't satisfy you. You can't satisfy yourself. You don't even like everything you do. You don't like everything you do. So how are you going to sit there and complain about what AKAI is not doing? Okay, maybe you don't like their latest move for whatever else. Stick with the one that you like. When they come up with something else that you like, then okay, upgrade or whatever. But don't complain. You live beneath your privilege in complaining, because you can always get your own computer and write your own algorithms and create your own application without AKAI and without Pro Tools and without everybody else. You can do it yourself. Now, will you do that? No, you won't do that. Some of you will, but most of you won't. Trust me, the ones who went out and did it themselves, they're not complaining about that. They're just trying to figure out what the future is going to look like. While we're sitting here complaining about, I can't do this, or I'm limited on my tracks, or I'm limited this way, I'm limited there, and I can't do this. 9 times out of 10, you can do it. It's just not easy. It's just not easy for you to do it, and that's what you're complaining about. Please change my diaper. That's what you're saying every time you complain. Please change my diaper. You don't care who it hurts. Just like a baby, they don't care where you get the money from. They want their milk. They want their food, and they want their diaper changed. They don't care who it is. Somebody get up and change my diaper. Well, that's how the music, and it's not the music industry, the producer industry has become like children. They complain about everything. Want somebody to change everything for them instead of them figuring out a way. You take yourself to class. You look on, matter of fact, you can look on YouTube and figure out how to write an algorithm to do what you're asking it to do. What you're wanting it done, what you're wanting done, you can actually do it yourself. That you won't do it. You know why? Because you want somebody else to do it. And nothing gets done waiting for someone else to do it. It'd be real easy for you to say, oh, AKAI didn't do this right. Let me write an algorithm for that and send it to them so that they can put that in the next update. Oh, but then, that's too much work. Somebody's got to do it. Either you do it or they do it. God blessed you with a brain. Ask him how to write the algorithm. Ask him to show you how to write the algorithm to do whatever it is that you're trying to do in those programs. Ask him. He'll show you if you're sincere. And 9 times out of 10, he already showed you. You just chose to do something else and chose to complain about it. Or maybe you're complaining about it because you can do it. You just refuse to do it. You want somebody else to do it for you. You don't have to do that. You do it. Don't complain. Just do it. I'm out.